Welcome to Aging Fearlessly, the place where you can discover your true purpose and value so you can thrive for the rest of your life. I'm your host, Guillermo, and I'm very happy you could join this program today. Now, I want to talk about concrete things you can start doing today that will undoubtedly open the door to your better life. Now, although they take some changes, I must confess, you don't need any special equipment or special skill to implement them, and that's the good news. These things are possible for anyone, regardless of your age, physical fitness, wealth, marital status, or whatever other excuse we find for ourselves to remain in our self-imposed mental prisons. You don't have to be there. So let's get right into it. Number one, learn to love yourself. By far, this is the most important thing you can do to start a new direction in life. Why? Because it's really hard to do anything positive for yourself if you believe you are worthless, inadequate, and unlovable. And many of us believe that. Believe me. The reality is that you need therapy if you want to get to the root cause of things, but it is not necessary to have therapy to make a decision to love yourself. This is what you need to remember. What makes up the foundation of the real you is that you were created perfectly as you are. You were given a purpose and meaning that the world needs you to share. You were individually created. There's no one else like you. Now, this doesn't mean you're lesser than the people with good looks and more money. No judgments are necessary. Everyone's just different, not better or worse than each other. You have no missing half, no discrepancies or fatal flaws. Remember this every time you're overcome with thoughts of feeling unworthy, worthless, or unlovable. Those thoughts are not true. They were drilled into you by perhaps well-meaning parents, teachers, and social leaders who were trying to get you to conform to their views of society. But with these teachings, you have convinced yourself of your place in that society, and this is wrong. So start loving yourself by choosing the thoughts that support the wonderful existence you were given. Number two, define your life by what you can do. Now, this is pretty straightforward, but the problem is that many of us don't do this because we choose to define our lives by what we can't do. Yes, you may not be able to run a marathon, but you may be able to learn to dance or learn a new language. The fact is that every single human being was born with limitations, and there's good reasons for this. We were limited in some areas of life so that we could find our meaning and purpose through doing what we can do. So rejoice in your uniqueness and stop cursing and complaining about what you can't do. Remember, the world may be your oyster, but that doesn't mean that you were supposed to eat every oyster. Pick and choose the ones you can and enjoy your life. Number three, don't settle for mediocrity. Your life is way too important to waste on the things you don't really care to do. Now, your inner voice always knows the answer to this quandary. When you're contemplating doing something, your inner voice says, yes, that would be fun to do. Oh, that is a person I want to spend time with. It also says, no, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to go out on a date with that guy. Now, not settling for mediocrity doesn't mean that you should only do what you like. I mean, after all, you do have to clean the kitchen and you have to pay bills. But even then, you can make those things more enjoyable by turning on music, for example. What I'm talking about here are the things you can choose to spend your time in. An example, someone invites you to a party, but you don't want to go. But you feel guilty about letting this person down, so you go. Even though you're not feeling well or you'd rather be doing something else. Then that night you arrive home feeling drained and that you wasted your evening. Your life's too important to that. I have a rule of thumb that I live by. I call it the maybe rule. It goes like this. If it's a maybe, then the answer is no. This means that if there's a debate in your mind about whether or not you want to do something or buy this or whatever it is, then don't do it. Your inner voice is clear. If it wants you to do something, it is enthusiastic. If it doesn't want you to do something, it's just as adamant about the no as it is with the yes. So when you're waffling about things, chances are great that your ego is involved with the shoulds and should nots. So try my rule. You may still choose things that take away your energy, but you will choose more things that make you enthusiastic, energetic, and joyful after you do them. Try it. Number 4, surround yourselves with people who fan your flames. Now, this is an obvious strategy that very few of us follow, because we all know the damage that negative people have in our lives. They're joy killers. Yet we often spend most of our time with people like this. We even ask for their advice on our life issues and then follow that advice. Then when we do, we don't understand why we feel depleted or dissatisfied when we do. The great thing is that you know both of these types of people. So slowly begin to disassociate from the ones who draw on you with their negativity and lift towards the other. Remember, reigniting your life may start with a small spark, and that will need help from the people who fan it to make it grow into a blazing fire. You don't need people who piss on your spark and drown it out. Number 5, learn to quiet the mind. Now, it is a scientific fact that the average human brain processes over 30,000 thoughts in a single day. So with this much noise inside our heads, it's no wonder we often get confused or trapped by thoughts that are not good or constructive for us. And this is where quieting the mind comes in. And the best way to do this is through meditation. I meditate twice a day for 20 minutes each time. I focus on a mantra and my breath. But there are many meditation practices that are available. And all you need to do is pick one that works for you. Quieting the mind does not at first stop the flow of the thousands of thoughts, so let me get that straight. But quieting the mind allows you to see that you are separate from your thoughts, and then you see that maybe you can begin to let go of them. This is key knowledge to have, because when you see that you're not attached to your thoughts, you actually realize that you can choose the ones that are good for you while you let the negative thoughts go by. Now, with practice, you do calm the mind and those thoughts, and then you learn to live in the calmness of the quiet unknown, which is the root of all creation that lives in the present moment. All this may sound woo-woo to you, but believe me, it works. When Buddha was asked what he gains from meditation, he said, nothing. But then he continued, but let me tell you what I have lost. Anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, and fear of old age and death. I'd say those are pretty good results and necessary steps to thrive in your life. Number 6, live in the present moment. Living in the past is a waste of time. The past is like seeing the wake behind a boat. You can see it, but there's nothing you can do to change it. The future, on the other hand, is an illusion. There's so many factors that control our future that it is impossible to know what the future will bring. This leaves you in the present moment. This is where life is, and the only moment you have control of. All of the things I've suggested so far are decisions you can make in the present moment. That's why they're so valuable and can make you ignite your life now. It's in the present moment that you can make decisions that will help you thrive in the future, no matter what your past was or what your future will be. Living in the present moment will bring you feelings of accomplishment, realization of the abundance in your life, gratitude for what you have, and a large dose of joyfulness. Number 7, let go and control. I don't know why so many of us grew up believing that we can control everything in our lives, but the fact is we control very little. So many things are decided by greater forces outside our control. Things like fate, luck, weather, or natural disasters, to just mention a few. All we control is our actions and reactions to the things that come our way. The opposite, then, of wanting control is patience. Patience means that you accept the fact that life goes at its own pace and you stop meddling with your impatient acts. One of my favorite sayings is that nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. This tells you truth that you have not been aware of because you were taught that you can will things to happen. Letting go means giving life a bit of slack, knowing that things have their own pace and will happen if they're meant to. Thank you for listening today. Try these things. I assure you they will change your life for the better starting now.